NABN, New Africa Broadcasting Network.
June 24, 2019. Vice President Yemi Osinbajo on Sunday in New York held a town hall meeting with Nigerians in the United States about the state of affairs in Nigeria.
May we all rise for the Vice President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
The Vice President spoke in response to more than 40 questions and comments by Nigerians in the United States. Many members of the audience took turns to express concerns about the reported spate of killings and kidnapping back home, and wanted to know what the government is doing to address the situation. Dr. Bola Omotosho, chairman of the editorial board of NABN TV and chairman Community Board 5 in the Bronx, however, said that Nigerians in the United States want the Nigerian government to tell them what areas it wants the U.S.-based Nigerians to help the administration.
We would like to know what area actually are the challenges that the government is facing that you would like the diasporans to participate in. For example, if it's security, we have diasporans here who are part of NYPD counterterrorism. We have doctors here who are part of medical initiative, and we have investors here who are part of remittance to the government. So my comment is to the diaspora and what exactly you need from us, sir.
Other speakers also asked questions and made comments on several issues of concerns about their beloved country.
The first question I have is about the issue of security. And I know everybody spoke about this, but this still came to my mind. I haven't worked in New York City Public School for 25 years. I should be traveling home with my colleagues and children. But the question they are asking me is, how are you sure you are coming back? That touches our mind. And we know that with best regard to the Vice President, Ile Omo Oyeku Bomo Leru. Nigeria ń bà wá lẹ́rù. I'm sorry for those of you that are not speaking in Yoruba. We shouldn't be afraid of our own. But presently, we are afraid of Nigeria because of the situation going on. What is the urgent and current steps that the federal government is doing to eradicate or stop this problem of adult napping and kidnapping here and there every day?
Thank you, Mr. Vice President. My name is Afolabi, a PhD in atomic and nuclear physics. Wow. I want to travel back home. The king of my town called me that I should stay either in Lagos or Abuja. I just finished building a very big house in the village. Now, it will be a disaster if I should travel and I didn't go to Ekiti to have a fresh pounded yam and bushmeat. Now, I heard that the National Assembly has passed the bill to establish the state and the local government police. Now, how soon will the president sign this bill? Thank you.
Thank you very much.
I would like to know, what is your agenda in harnessing and leveraging the human capital of the diaspora in order to achieve good governance and sustainable development?
To the consulate that I love so much and I've always been present with, certainly, sir, there's been so many town hall meetings. Is there any benefit coming from all these town hall meetings all these years? If you give us the feedback and let's know, benefit to the nation, benefit to the consulate and the embassy, Professor Silvanos, sir, and so forth, and benefit to diasporans. We have been doing this for quite a while. We want to know what's been happening. Is it really worth it? Thank you so much.
We don't have a national carrier, and it hurts us. I've been in aviation for about 32 years, and I've done a lot in pioneering aviation resources in Nigeria, but we'd like to have a world-class national carrier and a world-class maintenance organization.
Thank you very much.
What is the government policy on the eradication of poverty?
Is what are you doing to ensure religious freedom? And I'm thinking mostly as the mother of an almost 17-year-old daughter who's praying for the return of someone like Leah. And we're wondering when that will happen and what's been done to make sure that that happens.
Osinbajo, however, said the condition back home is not as bad as the social media tends to portray it, adding that the administration of President Muhammadu Buhari has done and is doing a lot to change the status quo and improve on every sector of the economy.
There are so many questions. But again, just to say that I am always impressed by the energy and the concern that Nigerians have about matters concerning our country, and I pray that that will continue. Our country is at a very interesting time in its history. And I was saying earlier today that when you look at the developments in our country, when you look at the various developments across the economy, security, governance, etc., there's no question at all that we are at the cusp of greatness. The reason why when great things are about to happen, you always experience, this is what you experience. You experience a situation where there's uncertainty, there is this, there is that, but I can assure you, looking at all of the parameters and looking at where we're headed, that the difficulties that our country has, the challenges we have are slight, they are surmountable, and they will be surmounted. I don't have any doubt. And the reason why I have no doubt, aside from the fact that we are men and women of faith, the major reason is that our country is a country of people like you and I, people who care about the country, people who are dedicated, who are not just energetic, they are bright, they are entrepreneurial. Then practically every aspect of life, you find Nigerians working hard and trying to move ahead. For that reason alone, our country is bound to do well. But the second thing is that when you look at the reasons why we have difficulties today, I think my sister Patience mentioned the major reason is because of the various narratives of disunity. The various narratives that try and keep everybody on tenterhooks. That's the main reason. Because when you look at everything else, if you look at all of the indicators, if you look at all of the figures, we are headed in the right direction. Is it agriculture? Today, we are world leaders in the production of cassava, yam, sorghum, millet. We are the world leaders. We have become self-sufficient in paddy rice production. We are producing practically all of our own paddy rice. Of course, we've got to get to milling to be able to be to produce all of our rice. We have an agro-allied cooperation with Brazil, so we're going to be supplying our own equipment for the agro-allied value chain. Anything we do will work. Anything we do. In terms of just the market for mobile phones, we are today the second largest country for mobile banking. We are the second largest. We have the second largest internet penetration by mobile phones in the whole wide world. So we're a great market. Look at technology. Look at what we're doing in technology. Just Andela, just take one example. Andela is a private company, started in 2016 in the midst of a recession. Today, Andela has trained over 70,000 software developers. Facebook invested $24 million in Andela, and they are replicated all over the place. The question, of course, for our country is our country is not a place where, and sometimes when you hear some of the narratives, you know that really people do not understand, the sort of dynamics that our country works under. People talk about security. This new wave of issues on security came immediately after the elections, and there's always a connection between an election period, especially because many times politicians arm several of these individuals. And immediately after an election cycle, after people have been given arms and all of that, many of them, having nothing to do with arms all over the place, resort to the fastest way of making money, which is to abduct somebody and ask for a ransom. But that is just one side of the problem. Let me try and dimension this so that we all sort of understand it a bit better. Because when people say there's a security problem, there's a security problem, it is, you have to look at what it's not one thing, it's several different things, but if it's described as one thing, it really looks much, much bigger than it is. And I really, I'm deeply worried about the fact that we might find ourselves unable to resolve these problems unless we are, unless we drill down and see what the problems are. So let me just describe it. Let's look at the North. Let's just take a look at the North and the problems in the North first before we go anywhere else. Now, the North Central is where we have the farmer-herder clashes, mainly, where we've had those clashes. And we've had those clashes, practically all through, all through our history. As a matter of fact, if you look at some of the figures on the farmer-herder clashes and some of the figures on the current, the number of people who were killed and those kinds of things, it will amaze you to find that you are looking at almost equivalent numbers from 2012, 2011, 2014. It's been, these things have remained. And really what we need to do is to find a solution to the resource conflicts. And I'll also probably tell you a bit of what we're trying to do. Now then take a look at the Northwest, where you've had a lot of, say Zamfara, for example, farmer-herder clashes, then the banditry around the mining areas, and that basically, again, it is armed persons who are armed to fight off other people in the mining area. We had to shut down many of the mines in order to prevent this from spreading. Same, if you look at Katsina also, we have a lot of those sorts of clashes, But again, we're looking at a segment. When we came into office in 2015, in the Northwest, what was very prominent was cattle rustling, where bandits were stealing cattle off herders. And many of the herders were getting armed on account of the fact that if people want to rustle, also fight, they come with arms and all of that. And a lot of rustling, a lot of the problems around that. So in a lot of the forests and all that, we had major problems. The state governors in the Northwest had to come together to deal with that concern. And they did, and they dealt with it. Many will remember that in Anambra State, for example, all the way up to 2012, 2013, there was a rush of kidnapping. In fact, most people who live in Anambra State couldn't even go there, especially people who are wealthy, like Chief from Ekiti, who has built his big house, who has now built his big house and doesn't even want to pay. He doesn't want to pay a ransom to anybody. But seriously, and many will recall that at that time, there was a lot of kidnapping going on and all that. As a matter of fact, you'll find that, until it was when Governor Obiano came into office, that the kidnapping stopped, because he really went all out with the federal government to work on ensuring that not only were these guys apprehended, that they were tried and all of that. In fact, at some point, he was breaking down their houses. Some will remember that if you are caught in kidnapping, they'll go to your house and they'll level the house and all that. This country also had cowboys all over the place, wandering around the whole place. They had their own herders until they began to ranch, before profit was made from cattle. And this really is what we're trying to do. We've worked with a team of governors in the so-called frontline states, the states in the north central, where this is a major problem. And one of the first things that we're doing is providing earth dams, so that cattle that's coming, a lot of the cattle that's coming from the far north, want to come through to Benue, where where they have water and pasture. And for some of them, it's superstitious, because they say that unless their cattle drink water in that place, their cattle doesn't multiply and those kinds of things. So we're building earth dams, trying to ensure that in the various states we have earth dams, so that people don't necessarily come down all the way to those places, and also trying to ensure that we have some grazing areas before we get to cattle routes. A lot of times when you look at the funding, and in fairness to the rearers, the funding that we've given to agriculture, such as the Anchor Borers program, various types of funding, never goes to cattle rearers anyway. So there's a need to also invest in some senses in facilities, and we're urging the private sector. We've asked the private sector, and some are already doing some work in various parts of the country. You probably noticed that things are a lot quieter in Benue and a few places. Of course, we had a few flashpoints in Taraba recently, but by and large, I think that things have quieted down somewhat in some of the areas where a lot of these incidents used to happen.
Chairperson of the Nigerians in Diaspora Organization Americas, NIDO, USA, Ms. Patience Key, said Nigerians in the United States have continued to support their country and are ready to do even more to realize the Nigeria of our dreams.
There is an urgent need for the government of Nigeria to seek permanent solutions to our various deficiencies plaguing our country, to secure our borders, declare state of emergency in areas victimized by terrorist killings and kidnappings, to bring final and sustainable solutions to our infrastructural problems, and also the rate of unemployment, particularly among the youth, needs to be addressed. The president has also always said that if we do not kill corruption, corruption will kill Nigeria. And I add, if we do not take care of insecurity, insecurity will destroy our country and what we represent.
Earlier, the Consul-General of Nigeria in New York, Mr. Bernard Okoyen, who is the chief host of the event, praised Nigerians in the diaspora, particularly those in the United States, for their tireless contributions to their homeland.
Nigerians are happy to note that the government of President Muhammadu Buhari laid a solid foundation in the last 4 years and has taken a number of very important decisions geared towards realizing the president's agenda for improving security, tackling corruption, revitalizing the national economy. The Nigerians in diaspora are well prepared to give back in Nigeria. They are respected in their various fields of human endeavor and with incredible accomplishments. Today, Nigerians in diaspora are considered as the biggest export of our economy before oil.
The permanent representative of Nigeria to the United Nations and president-elect of the 74th session of the United Nations General Assembly, Professor Tijani Mohammed Bandi, also lauded the great strides Nigerians are recording all over the world. Other dignitaries who attended the town hall include Nigeria's ambassador to the United States, retired Justice Sylvanus Nsofor, Honorable Anthony Ofolu, who led NABN TV team to the event, spoke to some of the guests.
So what's your takeaway from this conference?
My takeaway really is that, seeing everybody together. First of all, I said to myself, see the group of Nigerians from different parts of Nigeria, everybody sitting, talking, being happy together. Nigeria is a great country, and I could see that unity will not elude us. So many people keep thinking, oh, Nigeria will be divided. We are not going to be divided. So I'm very positive after attending this town hall meeting.
Thanks for speaking with us. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you.
In the sense that when things are obvious, they are obvious. Sometimes we need to call a spade so that we know how to deal with it. But, being in his position, I would like to say that he did his best. He tried. I respect him. I commend him for all he had done. But as far as the question that is very passionate to me that I asked him, of course, I know for sure that he was working on the 400 years commemoration of 400 years of slavery, which originated from 1619 to 2019. But I think Nigeria is not ready to receive the Africans American, the Caribbean, even if this is the 400 years of slavery. Ghana is doing very well. Kufuor, the president, is making powerful moves. These are moves that is expected of a giant of Africa, Nigeria. But he is doing it. He's championing the movement of the Year of Returns. And there are great organizations that are reaching out to Nigeria to champion this. But it seems like we're just getting a roadblock. We don't have that, the opening, and we don't get the support that we want. Even if the Oni of Ife, His Imperial Majesty, who I represent and work for, is doing everything possible to make sure that Nigeria is receptive of the diasporans or the African Americans or the Caribbean that are wanting to return back home. Not only to return back home, just to return back home. They want to return back home and do something for Africa.
Then what prompted your participation today at this conference?
Well, as I said, I have very strong interest in what goes on in Nigeria. I keep an eye on what goes on there. It's very important that for those of us who have spent many years here in the diaspora to be able to get feedback from time to time on what's going on in Nigeria, what steps are being taken, what improvements are coming, what the needs are, what the demands are, what the expectations are. And as we develop that, we in the diaspora also have to begin to look for ways to contribute. It's a good thing that we are here, we have the exposure, we have the experience, we have the education. But what do we do with it? It's very important to be able to take those things and take them back to Nigeria. Use those things to help make Nigeria a better place. And this is something that I strongly believe in, and that is why today was an opportunity to hear directly from our Vice President on various issues that are of interest to so many people who live in the diaspora, areas in which they could be of help, areas in which they could contribute, and areas in which they can help develop through their efforts here in the diaspora that will help make Nigeria.
Give us your name and your role at this conference.
My name is Nini Oke-Uche, and I'm the consul in charge of immigration, community relations, as well as diaspora matters at the Consul-General of Nigeria here in New York.
You had at least 40 questions that you presented to the Vice President. How do you think he performed in terms of response?
I'm a civil servant, so it's a difficult question because I'm going to tell you that I thought he was absolutely phenomenal. But people may not realize that I am for real. Who does that? 40 questions back to back. Everyone else around him felt that the questions were too much. Everyone else around him felt we should just have 5 questions. 10 was even thought to be too many. Everyone around him could not imagine what he did today. And it just reflects, the kind of person he is and the hope that we have in the government he belongs to. He was ready to keep going.
How satisfied are you with the Vice President's responses to the questions posed by the audience?
I am quite satisfied with the Vice President. One, he was very eloquent. He was able to articulate his goals and the things that they're planning for Nigeria. But my concern is also the same concern my husband has. All the information given today and the ones that they have already, are they going to implement them? Because if they do, Nigeria will be a better place. We need Nigeria to be a better place. Right here in this United States, Nigerians are heading a lot of professional areas, doctors, nurses, teachers, all over United States are Nigerians. They need to bring us home so that we can really contribute to our own country. When we came out here to study many years ago, our aim was to finish and go back to fix Nigeria. But right now, as an educator in the system, my heart is bleeding because I see our disabled still crawling on the dust and begging for food. And I see our students as learning disabled or learning challenged. Nobody is addressing them. And my heart is bleeding. I still see our people going to South Africa to get learning consultants like me, who is already given in the society, to diagnose their children, test them, and give them goals and accommodations, which they never do. Nigerians are spending money unnecessarily with other people for the things that the Nigerians can do and do best.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thanks for talking.
The question is not bringing us back. The question is that creating the environment, the structure, so that we can come home and fit into the system. Thank you.
So you'd like to see a follow-up, right? Thank you. You attended the conference. What do you like about this conference today?
Anyway, I can't just say, through the background I come from, I'm a poor girl. I have never been in this kind of meeting before. This is my first time, and I really happy and I honor being here today. I am so happy and pleased, and through how everything went through, I am impressed because our Vice President tried to handle all the case, the issue that they put down. He tried to let everything be understood and by known by each one of us that this is what is happening and this is how it goes. So he tried as possible to explain for each one of us, and I really understand everything that go on there today. I am happy.
Thank you so much, Iron Lady. Can I touch you? I'm going to have a picture with you. Is that
are you
okay?
ready? Are you ready to fight me?
I wouldn't.
Are you ready to give me sparring?
I wouldn't dare. I wouldn't dare.
I need someone to give me sparring. So if you're ready.
Maybe my executive producer was.
Know more about NABN TV? Visit our website at www.nabntv.com.
NABN, New Africa Broadcasting Network.